Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
Yeah, sorry about that. Now you were waiting for me a little while because I couldn't drag my old man out the pub.
This is a great start to,
So,
to the episode
but you
3 of
know-
the podcast. Episode 4.
Hello, everyone.
Episode-
Welcome. You know what? Yeah, it's episode 4. We should have episode 5 inside in Derry Murphy's pub in Mornabbie in County Cork.
Oh God, that'd be lovely. That'd be lovely. Now that would be absolutely lovely. I'll.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
We were. So I was. I'm at home in Ireland this week, so I we have a wedding at the weekend. So, as you might tell from the bookcase behind me,
Do you know, like you're like Ron Burgundy? You have many leather-bound books. You're...
many leather-bound books on the local history of Mallow and the surrounding areas. So I was just above in Derry Murphy's there with the old man, but we had arranged to chat an hour ago, and I kind of lose sense of time when I like come back to Mallow because you know you're doing jobs for people and stuff.
Listen, it's Mallow. I get it. It's Mallow. Mallow does that to you. I've lost dimensions in Mallow.
You've lost hours of your life inside
God.
Mallow.
That's not even a joke. I've lost so much time in Mallow.
Not. But I have to bring you back to Mallow to kind of re-show you the way. Not like I know the way, because I was supposed to be on a Zoom call too, and I was like, fuck it, I'm above in Derry Murphy's pub with my old fella who needs to be accompanied for a pint these days. And you know what? We're above this, myself and 3 other punters and the barmaid Doreen, and she was telling us stories of how she used to hitchhike from Cork City to Achill Island.
Jesus.
And it was just class, like listening to the stories of getting picked up and going to the discos. And she said that they got to Achill Island and they were down in a pub in Keem Bay for a lock-in, and the guard came in and took all their names, and they were all supposed to go to Castlebar Court the next day, but sure, they never heard it. Oh, it was brilliant. So I'm sorry you had to wait, but I was enjoying myself above in the pub listening to all the...
When you sent me the picture, I wasn't even mad at you because you sent me the picture and then you went, I'm home now and I'm ready. I was like, what? I'm so confused. But to be fair, when I got the picture first, I was in no way angry. I was like, you know what? Good on you, Anna. Good on you. Because I'd love to be supping pints now, listen to Doreen talking to stories.
But I was thinking of you, and I actually knew. I was like, I know he's not going to be mad at me because I know that he'll enjoy this and these moments. You know, you're sitting in the pub, like listening to people telling stories. It's one of the best things. So we'll need to do an episode now. One of the episodes down the line down in Derry Murphy's pub.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we won't, no heavy endorsement needed, but we will be absolutely talking non-stop about Derry's pub. Welcome everybody to episode 4. I use 3 sheets. Have you had many pints? Because I'm jealous now if you have. Were they delicious?
No, I only had the one.
Okay.
I only had the one. So
it's still all the same though.
I was driving home. But
fair enough.
Yes. So but do you know what I got now in what Farron Fuist brought today?
Tell me.
A box, a gift from Guinness.
Oh, Mahan Farron Fuist.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that hasn't happened to me in a while now when I got them gifts like that where I get gifts.
Yeah,
for your
I know.
company.
Yeah, I'm a lucky gal. I got cans of Guinness with a nitro surge and other goodies thrown into the box.
Are you going to do a big reveal like do you know, like the YouTubers do? You'll have to.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Standard.
But I'll crack it open for the under-20s on Friday because I'm actually going to a wedding on Saturday. So
beautiful. Anybody also, just to catch up on from episode 2, where I put a clip up about where Anna had made a huge discovery, and we haven't been cancelled, we haven't been challenged on it, that Gregor Townsend is most likely Finn Russell's actual father. You were in La Coruña and some bloke just so go to our stories today, because I'm putting this out tonight immediately as we're done. Go today, or go to my one because I reposted it, and you will see just Darth Vader, apropos of nothing, no surrounding, no music, no, just walking through La Coruña.
Because I was trying to get him from the front, he looked great, but I couldn't. I was fumbling with my camera, so I only got him from the back. But he had a mask on, but I'm pretty sure it was Gregor Townsend. Sorry, go on. You were going to say something.
I wasn't. Nothing.
It's obvious. So today is Ash Wednesday. Happy Ash Wednesday. Yesterday was Pancake Tuesday. We've very plain old celebrations here in Ireland for the start of Lent.
We do.
See, and now it's pancake, and that's it. Like, and we're like, ooh, Pancake Tuesday. I'm telling you now, La Coruña, anywhere in Spain or most places in Europe and kind of the rest of the world celebrate either Carnival, Mardi Gras, something kind of wild.
Yeah, because Brazil is
My
bananas
God.
this week. Yeah,
Oh,
with Carnival.
Brazil is kind of the most famous for it, really, isn't it?
It-
Or kind of places like New Orleans or
yes.
but like not a bother to them. The Spanish in La Coruña, they're like, oh yeah, Tuesday, we'll go out Tuesday now. So and fancy dress, okay, fancy dress, yeah, okay, cool. Not a stone unturned. Everybody, I've never seen the likes of it. We dressed up as Vikings, me and a few friends, and like they don't slack. Like there's no like, oh, I'll just throw something on there. There was like a Chinese weather balloon. There was about 50 Freddie Mercurys pushing around Hoovers and mops. What else was there? There was a fella dressed as a skid mark. He had an underpants on his head and he was dressed in like white
Oh
material with a big mark of shit down the front of him. And
my
there
God.
were Minnie Mouses, groups, but like groups of friends that go out together. And because we were like dressed as Vikings, anytime we'd meet another group of Vikings, we'd be like, hey, hoo, 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 and like the whole pub goes up like, and there was music in the streets, dancing. It was class. It was class. Like everyone was dressed up.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with my lowly pancake and a bit of juice, lemon juice on the fucking thing going, yeah, can't wait to get a bit of ash tomorrow and not eat any meat. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Yeah, nuts. I'll post more stories about it tonight because I don't think I was kind of, so absorbed in it. I didn't post as much as I could have. But one of them was Darth Vader. And I don't know, the video that I posted, I'll send it on to you. You can actually see that he's with, who's your one with the hair
Leia.
over her ears?
Leia.
Yes. And a little Luke Skywalker. It
What?
might have been Finn Russell, actually.
Yes.
Let's see. We put out a poll. Is this
No,
Finn Russell?
da.
Because you could just see them at the
No.
very end.
I mean, the chat. I mean, of course,
Oh,
it makes
not
perfect
holding
sense.
your hand. You're embarrassing me.
Give me back my bowl, da. I mean, it makes perfect sense that they'd be in La Coruña, exactly where you are, where you had actually made the allegation first. I mean, to me, I don't see anything
Yes.
implausible about that whatsoever. Are you so? Tell me, are you giving up anything for
Yeah.
Lent?
I'm not. But do you know what I'm going to try to be a bit more of I don't want to use the see you next Tuesday word, but that's what I'm going to try and be a bit more of.
Oh, you go. Oh, geez, because I normally have to wind that in. I normally have to wind because I'm not. My natural starting pace is see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I've had to actually take the chisel to my take the edges off it a small bit. So
Maybe like
so you want to go
you can
a bit waspier. Oh, I can
a
teach
little
you
bit,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
you need to pass on your powers to me then because well, not to launch too much into it now, but it is relevant. And we don't have to discuss it here and now, but I made a comment about that I didn't find the Tiger Woods thing that funny.
Yeah. It's not
Very
nice.
general statement.
Yeah.
And my God, the abuse that I got was awful actually. And I had a really bad week last week because of it, because I just said that I didn't find it that funny. I said nothing else. And my goodness, people came for me, writing to me privately. I took down the tweet and people found me on Instagram and started writing to me. So it was I had a bit of a shitty day, and I don't know why I let things bother me of these people who I don't know. They don't know me, and I felt awful that all these people had come for me, and like got a lot of support for it as well. And kind of most people I know agreed with me, but just the
I
I
did
think
not
we
know
all
that.
have to deal. Yeah, we all have to deal with these things, with online media and stuff. So,
Do you want your first
anyway,
lesson? Do you want your first lesson in digging your head? And I'm
I'm
going to
ready.
straight up say it. You need to dig in and be the cunt that you got to be. Find that inner cunt I'm saying it out loud, and this is because it's deserved. Myself and Natasha only spoke. It's amazing that you tweeted that, because Natasha, lying in bed, she went, "Do you see that thing with Tiger Woods?" She goes, "Is it 1972?" You know, it was tame. It was a crap joke. It was. That's exactly what I thought. It was like,
That's it.
it's like, come on, lads, what? Like, get a better gag. Hand him a note and call him a fanny. You know what I mean? Like, get a better. Like, the gag was absolutely what? Like,
Yeah.
straight away you're going, man, you're opening yourself up by saying, yes, okay, it's between the two of you. You're saying, you know, but also you're kind of going, but dude, you're on the world stage. You're already known to be a bit of a prick, and you're doing this, which essentially you're saying, oh, I'm passing you up because you're a lesser, being a woman.
Yeah.
Man, play it cooler than that. Play it fucking cool.
Yeah.
But what I would do, and anytime I've made a statement and I've had a pylon like that, both my heels go into the ground. I just double down. I double down. I will, if there's I don't know the correct terminology for multiplying something by 100, but I go to turbo dickhead, and I take it to a ludicrous level of aggressive, like hyper aggressive. Because here's the thing, come at me, bruh. What you gonna do? We're on our phones. Like, my brain goes immediately to, if you are standing in front of me toe to toe, you're not gonna do nothing. You're not gonna do nothing. You know?
I think that's good, and I admire that a lot. The difference is, and this is kind of sad, and I had a look at some of the profiles of people who wrote to me. They're not just faceless trolls, although there were many of those. There were fellas, could be people who listen to this podcast, I don't know, men who are members of rugby clubs. They put in their county, they put in their club, they put in they're rugby fans. And my fear would be, first of all, it bothers me seeing it online, but if I did double down, my fear is that if I met that person, which is very likely, we're in Ireland, we're rugby fans, small rugby world, I wouldn't be that confident they wouldn't say something to me, especially after a few drinks. I've been, you know, I've had very difficult situations in the past. Every woman has, with men who have aggressive views about you know, what you have to say, and if you stand up for yourself, it makes it worse. I've been in really terrible situations with men, and actually, you know, you can say, "Come at me." You wouldn't say it to my face, but actually,
this is fine for me to say that.
Say it to me, and like, it goes further than not just something you say, but it could grow. You know, the fear.
Yes.
Even if it never did, but there's a fear there of something else, which is only natural. So it goes a lot further than just Twitter as well, especially when it's in a small. Oh Jesus, we love rugby so much, like, but when it comes to people like that sending you abuse who are members of rugby clubs, I only imagine what they'd be saying, you know, in their dressing rooms, by the way, probably from a first team pitch, in a first team dressing room, never had to come bottom of the pile, never had to come last.
Yeah.
Now, you laugh at that joke after you have had to train after the women, use the smaller dressing room, have cold showers, be bottom of the pile for a while, and see if you find that joke still funny.
That's the thing. You see, you're talking about there's knuckle draggers in every walk of life. Because I meet, quite literally on a yearly basis, I meet tens and tens of thousands of people, and you can take you know what I mean? You do, and you actually test them to their level of it's a great tester being a stand-up, because I push them, and you get that kind of air from an audience. You're like, and you scan for people, I call them gophers. They virtually stick their head up, and you go, oh, you're a fucking knuckle dragger, male, female. You're just you're not at the races with us, the rest of us normal people. And here's
we've spoken about this before.
This you should take solace in this. The reality is that I can honestly say it's about 1% of society is a fucking knuckle dragger, proper knuckle dragger, like dim bastard. Now, unfortunately, what certain sports like golf tend to, I would ramp it up maybe you're going to get 10 to 12% of absolute fucking knuckle draggers. And these seem to be the people that seem to be passionate about a shit joke. Hold on, by the way. And I can tell you, from a professional person who makes jokes, that was a really weak joke. On nothing else. That was right up there with like fucking really base level stuff. You're like, oh, you gotta, like, if somebody handed that to me, I'd go, oh, you have to do way better than that. Oh, fuck it. Hey, take that back. Take that back. Go back up to fucking ninth and come back again with another fucking joke, because that is disgusting in its level of humor. Okay, so they're two golfers, not exactly the funniest fucking people on the planet either. But for fuck's sake, he stands at the pro tee. Right in front of the pro tee is the pro women's tee. Right in front of it, which most men, and I know this for a fact because I used to build the fucking things. Most men, and I would say 99% of men, cannot drive from the women's professional tees because they're too far back. You know what I mean? So you're kind of going, well, where's your fucking problem with it? So, like, where's your problem with what Anna said? Like, it's like, no, stand back for 1 fucking second, will you?
Yeah.
Do it. It's a shit joke, but do any version of it. Be fucking sounder than that, will you? Would you just be fucking sounder than that for a minute? Like,
well, especially the history that Tiger Woods has.
Even that aside, because I don't like to cloud the issue, because that takes away from how much of a fucking prick
it's
of a
like
move.
giving it an excuse.
It does.
Almost,
it gives it an excuse, and it gives it. No matter who it was, if it was a basketball player handed to another basketball player, or two tennis players or something, I wouldn't take into consideration their background. You just go, that was really fucking. That was crass, and you didn't just stop for a second to go, maybe I shouldn't, especially given you're in the public fucking eye. And it would probably take him a second to go to then.
But it wasn't an off the cuff thing either.
No, he went away and bought him and stuff out of the vending machine, like, and thought this would be funny. This would be really funny. Stop for a second. Go, maybe. You see, ego too is another thing. He's walking around going, "I'm the funniest fucker ever." And you're like, no, you're not. Just you're really rich, and everybody nods and smiles at you. So he walked thinking that was the funniest thing ever.
That's it as well.
If for a moment there had been logic in his brain, which there isn't in anybody who's making plus 10 million a year out of a sport isn't going to have a whole pile of logic in their brain when it comes to self-reflection or introspective looking. He's walking up there going, I'd say this is the funniest joke. I'd say. But if it was your average person, they would surely be the Jesus go. If they knew they were on TV, there was going to be big consequences to this being spotted, they would have gone, that's actually a really fucking harsh joke. Hold on 1 second. My missus, my sister, my mother plays golf. Do you know, that's where people need to stop and go, did you like your mother? Do you like your sister? Do you like your missus? Do you know what I mean? Do you like, well, now think.
You might like them. I know a lot of people who really like women and still believe that they are lesser.
Yeah.
So it's not even about that. It's just there's so many layers to it.
We're not gonna fix it tonight, but I want people to I do genuinely want people to get on. I know we ask about fucking all sorts, and I ask about all sorts. Like last night, I did a podcast asking about outdoor toenail clipping, and I got a lot of responses on it. But
outdoor toenail clipping.
Anna, I have to tell you, you had a great couple of days. I had a great couple of days, which was ruined by one moment. But I'll explain that to you.
I just picturing Father Jack.
You think you had a terrible time with 10,000 people piling on and fucking giving you shit. Wait and you see what I had to witness and deal with. But anyway.
Just picturing Father Jack worrying the armrests.
But that is 100%. I'm so glad you brought it up from your point of view, because I don't want to be seen as a white knight either, because how the fuck, what do I know about being an actual woman? Only from what I've been told. But I will never ever know what it is to be a woman. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So I've been very cautious of, I will always stand up for, but I will, rather than guys, we need to try better, because that to me, a lot of the time ends up sounding like, you sound like you're fucking hiding something. But in this instance, I would believe the generation is changing. There'll be a lot of knuckle draggers, Anna, that we've lost. They're just lost, and we'll have to wait till they die until we come in. You know, it's just the way of it. Deadwood needs to burn out, and unfortunately, like, the tide is turning. It's great. Women's sport is the number one way that it will turn. Like when you see it in tennis, you see it in fighting. Fighting is probably leading the way right now when it's on the view of women's sports, because you see the numbers going up and up. Rugby will pass along. We're going to do the Women's Six Nations as well here on this. But I do think there's we just have to unfortunately accept that there's nothing we will ever do to change some of the knuckle draggers. Some of them, hopefully, they will look, and in time they will kind of come to the realization, oh yeah, that shit that's been downloaded into my head from the 1950s isn't actually a reality. Women and men are the exact same. I need to stop being a complete piece of shit. Do you know what I mean?
See, I can't actually give up on that, like you say, because I I know people, a lot of people that still believe that, people I know and people who are friends and people that won't stand up for women, and people that believe I I have a story about it. Actually, I actually couldn't be bothered telling it now. But someone who basically told me women's rugby will never be as good as men's rugby. Um, and I have a whole answer to that I'm not going to share now. But my belief in it is that, well, I'm not going to give up. I can't. When I've given my whole
Of
life
course, yes.
to rugby already, I'm not going to sit back and be like, Grant, you believe that they're love. I'm just going to have to continue, showing people what I believe, which is that it absolutely can.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
know, because I've been there and I've been around long enough, and I've learned a lot. But we don't need to discuss it much further tonight. But it's probably important to address, because probably people people are probably sick of it, but it's good to hear different opinions from different sides as well. So
No, I think so. And there would be a Venn diagram of people that would listen to this that are possibly golf fans. I don't know, is there such a thing as a golf fan? I suppose there is, but you know what I mean. People
I'm
that
a
would,
golf fan. I love golf.
yeah, I don't mind golf, but the people that would definitely know of what went on and possibly, hopefully, don't agree with what an absolute crass piece of shit joke it was. It was like, man, come on. But I'm glad. Do you know what? I'm glad it's catching the heat. Do you know what I mean? That it did. It was. I didn't see your tweet, because obviously you had it deleted.
I had deleted it within the hour because I had received so many horrible messages, and I made a general statement.
Do you know
that
what's
I didn't find it funny?
Do you know what's an awful pity is that we didn't know that was going to happen, but also that the two of us as an experiment didn't put out the exact same tweet at the exact same time to see. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to see. Now I've had pylons from cyclists. That's who's come after me a couple of times. Like, but needless, they're quite.
We're sitting back quietly, and this one laughing at all the golfers and the athletes.
Yes. I know we're to talk about that. We go from an exciting sports to those things. Anyway, but I'm delighted you did bring it up, because it had passed my brain. But I was so glad Natasha brought it up in that exact sense. She goes, what fucking year do these dickheads think it is? I said, Natasha, you've no idea. You live in a very nice world in that, you want to believe that everybody. I said, trust me, I meet them. they're fucking idiots. Like,
they're out there.
They're out there. Unfortunately, they are out there. Well, what now meeting very quickly, I was gigging at the weekend. I had some beautiful gigs at the weekend, met some lovely people. I love one thing. I love gigging in Cork. It's where I cut my teeth. In comedy is where I started. And I love one thing after gigging, anytime I gig in Cork City, because Cork has the best chips in Ireland. I'll fight you on that, anybody listening. I will fight you. It has, as a city, it has the best range of places to get chips. And I love, Anna, being hungry before a gig. I love it. It makes me waspy. And then I get into my happy place. I don't know what it is. I hate to be too lethargic, especially with stodgy chips or pasta or anything. I just like to be just kind of on the edge of, a bit fairy. And then immediately afterwards, look, thanks everybody. And I jump in the car, and there was a chipper up on McCartan Street, and it was a blue place. It was called the Fishwife, and it made the most delicious. Oh, they were like little crunchy little balls of joy as you bit into every chip. It was a chef that had it, and he took so much pride. It would be double fried. I don't know, did they do my beef? Oh, Jesus Christ, they were outrageous. And that's all I wanted was a bag of chips. And like when Shakespeare would write, something bad is coming. You know what I mean? Like, you're about to get stabbed, et tu brute, and all the rest of it. And did they call it onomatopoeia when the weather and the environment shows you that something bad is coming? Like,
No,
No.
No, it's called pathetic fallacy.
Yes. Well, Cerberus pretty much walked around the corner, the three-headed dog, to tell me that something terrible was about to happen in the guise of a man leaning up against the chip shop window with the nail clippers, snipping his own nails. Yeah. I'm so glad you did that.
Were you already eating the chips at this point?
No, thank God. Thank God. They weren't, and they were snapping and flying all over the footpath. One damn near hit me like a bullet. It shot off the end of his thumb. And and I wouldn't mind, he's chatting nonchalantly to this woman beside him. Now, I think the two of them were mad jokes. Like, you'd have to be a mad joke to bring the nail clippers out with you. But it shot, like, they were shooting off, hitting people. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, hold it together now, Tommy. It's a great gig. You're going to get great chips. That's really fucking bothering me right now. That is really troubling me. Like, I've seen people pick their noses, scratch the hole outdoors, but you're like, okay, it's gross, but it's a thing that you see gross people doing outdoors. I have never, in my 40 years on this planet, seen somebody chopping their nails with a nail clipper in public on the footpath.
They were his fingernails, not
fingernails.
His
if it got to the top,
yeah. That's grand.
No, there wasn't. They were filthy and they were flying everywhere. It was just the oddity of it
too.
too.
I feel sick. I actually, on behalf of people of Cork, I can only apologise.
Look, I love the place. Like I said, I was there for long enough. I was willing to excuse him. And then around the corner into the chip shop, don't recognise man behind the counter, but he had a kind of a French accent. I went, that's good enough for me. You sound chefy. Bag of chips, good man. Lovely job. Get the chips. Head, jump back in the car. I'm halfway out the from High Road. And when I stuck my hand into that bag of chips, and what I got was these meager versions of McDonald's little slim fries inside in the bag, and not those little bundles of fun that used to. They were like they used to be little golden fingers of happiness. And these disgusting yolks, needless to say, night round. Threw him into the footwell and fed him to the hens. Even the hens wouldn't fucking have him the following morning when they came out of the hen house. They were like, what is this? The crows were like going, I'm not having. Yeah, it was just. Well, I know you had a bit harsh week, but look, just saying, it was a lot.
Oh no. That and no Six Nations, for goodness sake.
I know, but we haven't dipped our toe into club rugby yet, but I'm just going to quickly say 58-3 by Munster. Very happy. Anyway, 58-3, Jesus Christ, Wales. Well, we just go straight into Wales. We rip the Band-Aid off and just go straight in, because we're recording, it is 8:00 on Wednesday the 22nd. It's 8:30 on Wednesday the 22nd. And the meeting, my phone hasn't buzzed. Anna's, because we're hyper nerds. And we claimed this wasn't going to be a nerdy rugby podcast, but it looks like we're kind of weird nerds in that we have notifications set up. They haven't come out in the meeting. They haven't named the Welsh team. So they're still technically on strike. The game is still hanging in the balance.
Do you think they should strike?
Jesus Christ. I mean, yes, every moral fiber of me, what was your man's name? Crow, that stood up for like, Jesus Christ, everything about me, Malcolm X, fucking, you know what I mean? I just want to, yes, but then there's 80,000 Welsh people who will be crushed.
No, crushed for a weekend with a long-term return.
Do you think do you think business-wise, Jesus Christ, if you all walk, then you really are nailing your colours to the mast. And I think, I think, yes, every moral fibre. And it would be, what will they do? How much business will be lost to Cardiff that time when the place is, what happened? Where they've thrown money, flahulach, around the place. For our international listeners, flahulach is one of my favourite words of all time. It means just, carefree, isn't it?
Do we have many international listeners?
Oh, we do, yeah. We've people abroad. We are a burgeoning. We've burgeoning podcast, and we're reaching. We have Australia. We had somebody in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, of course it easily could have been. That was that was Monday night. But sure, look at.
Actually, pals in Canada are listening. Sorry, I didn't know there was international.
Great. So flahulach is a new word that you're after learning. If you didn't, is that what the hell? I know there's been allegations that your man had to step down. was allegations of sexual misconduct. Again, probably what was Mad Men, Knuckle Dragon hadn't updated their times, not running it like a business, being running like an old boys club. Is that what?
Rubbing their belly, putting all the money in their pockets.
Yeah.
And not looking after, like, patting each other on the back, stuff in their pockets, big important in their eyes, jobs, but no respect, or kind of forgetting about the real source of their income and the source of what makes, rugby what it is, which is the players. Good fair play to a few kind of brave players that put it out there, and they were like, if I get injured tomorrow, my family has no income, and if I come the summer, I might be out of a job. And they also probably don't have other skills or qualifications because they've probably been professional most of their adult life, rugby players. But like, a couple of weeks back when they decided to ban or announce, even though they had already stopped the choirs singing that Delilah song.
Yeah.
And then they announced it. We'll announce it now. They'll think that we're starting to get, things going. Fucking idiots. Like, you had already done it a few years ago. Just making a statement like, oh, look at us. It was Louis Rees Sammet that posted, like, of all the things they need to do, and this is what they do first.
Yeah.
That, like, number one, I felt really happy for, like, the Welsh women in that moment. So, like, to have a kind of a male senior, very popular young player tweet kind of in objection to the union, I was like, that's good for people to kind of to see that he's obviously unhappy with the union. This didn't come from a place of he loves his job, he loves playing for Wales. He's not going to tweet that if he's really happy. He's going to keep his voice down. So obviously he's been unhappy as well as other players, which is obviously evident now. I don't know what the ins and outs of it are. There's been very little, information drip fed. No one really knows, but I'd say it's bad if the players who love nothing more than playing for their country.
Oh my God, yeah.
Are that upset. I empathize with that feeling completely. And I think that they should strike, because I'm not sure, unless they really know themselves, they're going to play and they're going to push the union to the wire and make them sweat.
But why? Why as a union would you do this? Like, if it wasn't raised, yeah, they should have had this all wrapped up before Christmas, like everything.
No.
And
the only thing they're worried about is themselves and their own pockets. They've forgotten that it's the players that are the ones that keep them in a job. Like, oh, I'm on the board or whatever for Welsh Rugby Union.
Why would you not? Like, they were looking for three simple things. They were looking for the 60 cap rule to be scrapped, which, for anybody wondering, it was here in Ireland, you cannot play outside of Ireland if you want to be selected for the Irish squad. It's not written in stone, but it is more or less there. That's it. But to be fair, our club system here, our clubs are good. They do well. You'll win shit if you're with, but the 60 cap rule, yeah.
We don't need to get into that.
I'm not getting into it. But the 60 cap rule was there. And in other words, that you could only play abroad outside of Wales if you had 60 caps plus. So I think they want to get that scrapped. There was a weird one where it's like, there's 80%. Your agreed fee is 80% or X, say 100,000 a year. But we're only paying you 80%. The last 20% would be based on kind of a bonus system that we'll kind of fuck around with. And it was, no, thank you. And I'm trying to think of what the third one's quite simplistic as well. It was like literally the swipe of a pen. You would look at it and go, Jesus Christ. Yeah. If somebody new walked in to take David Nucifora walked in and looked at him and went, Jesus Christ, sign that. There seemed like nothing seemed over the top. It all seemed pretty all right. Like, just let us get paid and get on with the game. Like,
I'd say that's the three things at the top of a pyramid of 3 million things.
I think what they're worried about is once those three things, yes, as you said, get signed off, they're frightened that the floodgates will open. Or I would imagine there will have to be a huge inquiry as to what's done, what's happened. And I'd say there's going to be some fairly hairy-legged skeletons come flying out of closets every left, right, and center, and some scandalous carry-on. I would imagine, because they airbrushed over, the we'll call it the allegations, but we'll call it the statements that were made a couple of weeks ago, and with the head stepping down and all the rest of it. They kind of airbrushed quickly. Wish. That's fine now. That's done. Now we'll say no more about that. And then this, but I would imagine.
What, yeah, it's a good thing that they're losing, and that they're playing as shit as they are, because winning masks over things, and winning encourages everyone to brush things under the carpet.
Yes.
And if you look at New Zealand women's team, a year before the World Cup, in the November internationals before the World Cup, they came to England and they were destroyed by England. Absolutely destroyed. I couldn't believe it, like how poorly they played, how poorly they performed, the difference in the score. I was literally like, Jesus, England are going to absolutely run away with this World Cup, which obviously didn't happen in the end, because it was the first, test tour that New Zealand went on that went like this for them. And all of a sudden, the truth came out. It was horrible for the players. There was a player who was, if she hadn't picked up her phone and made a phone call and reached out, she wouldn't be with us now. She was in such a bad way. She wasn't the only one. They were having a really awful time. And again, not just because of her, or it was how the whole system was built, the union, how things were going within the union, stretching out into the management and into the team. It was an awful time for them. But if they had continued to win, nothing would ever have been addressed. They got rid of their head coach. They wiped clean the management, brought in new management, started from the bottom. And what happened? Within a year, they won the World Cup. They won it. And that would never have happened if they hadn't, literally hit rock bottom. And Wales has to hit rock bottom. I think that them going on strike this weekend now will be rock bottom for them. And from there, the only way is up.
Burn out the dead wood, essentially, is what you're saying. Burn out the dead wood, starting new. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So if the game does go ahead, we'll get your knowledged prediction. What do you think? It's a weird one, isn't it? England, I suppose England, they play that park the bus rugby that was horrific to look at, but they do have the power. And I think if Wales play into their hands at all, it'll be a drab old affair. But I'm with you on the England thing, because Wales don't know what they're doing as a rugby team right now. They don't know what systems they're trying to play around. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And
they don't. On top of everything else, on the pitch.
On top of everything else, yeah. Now, saying that, Land of Our Fathers starts playing, they all start balling and everything, and it might be just that one surge of, emotional strength. But as you said, they'll paper over the cracks, because they sure shit will not continue on to do much more in this tournament. I don't think, with the scandalous carry on of them. They're just not playing well.
I know. It's sad.
It is.
It's sad for them. I feel sorry for them.
I feel sorry for their fans. Do you know what I mean? If you're a diehard fan, the sort that gets it. The sort like the picture you sent me of your man with the daffodil. Jesus Christ. The likes of him.
I think that from being kind of among the Twitter rugby community and Instagram rugby community, the fans certainly seem to be on the side of the players, and I think they're saying the players need to strike.
Yeah, do you know what? I was kind of on the fence, but you've kind of turned my head. You're right. You know what? Fuck it. They'll find the money somewhere the next day. Stick a foot in the ground. That's it. No. You made a bollocks of us. You made a bollocks. Now, the tournament as a whole, unfortunately, it gives England a 5-point walkover, unfortunately. Which
makes things kind of interesting, because it's not England's fault.
No, and it does throw a bit of drama in a bit of sauce on the whole thing, doesn't it? It's
might be the right kind of thing we needed in this Six Nations before the World Cup.
Yeah.
Throw in a bit of whoa, but what if? Because if you had set certain results, that's how it happened, and you still have question marks then approaching the World Cup if this happens. We don't know the real results.
I like it. Actually, do you know what? As a we're not supposed to be actually the run of the mill podcast. As an alternative view, I like the idea of it all going sideways, And now, you know what I mean? Now he has some.
We say this now. Well, someone's phone is going to buzz and be like, Wales to go ahead this weekend. We're like, fuck it. We were ready with our pitchforks. Burn the daffodils.
So, moving on. Yeah, let's hope for the best for Wales. But moving on to this could be a humdinger altogether. France and Scotland. A dinging hum is like, I am really looking forward to this match, because if France needed anything pre a World Cup, it was a bit of a slap in the arse. And Ireland they pulled their pants down and slapped their arse a small bit. Like, you know what I mean? They did. And France hadn't had that done to them.
They did, but I think they kind of expected it from Ireland. They were kind of like, not sure.
Do you think the French accept that Ireland are better than them?
Yes.
No, they don't. They're
Yes,
French.
at the moment,
Right.
they're like,
Right.
oh, Ireland number 1, France number 2. It's okay that we lost because we're coming for you at the World Cup.
Okay, right. Yeah.
That's the vibe that I've got. You know, the fans are like, oh, Ireland play very well, and Fabienne, our goggly friend, you know, like, we don't disrespect any teams. We know
Melt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited to see, like, this. They said, could Scotland back it up? You know, when they went against Wales the last day, because, you know, they'll have a good outshot on the first one, then a good outshot on the second one. Do they have the minerals to go against France? Like, go against France, they'll have to set things right now. They don't want 2 losses in a row. I mean, they were 14 matches on the bounce of winning, and they get beaten by Ireland. There's no fucking way they're going to be happy with even coming close to getting a loss. Like, and in their eyes, Scotland, Ireland, we can accept, but
yeah,
Scotland,
well, that's the thing as
you
well.
know.
But the Six Nations drama queen in me wants Scotland to win, but I actually think that France will win.
Yeah. Is there too many strings to their bow when France do start sucking diesel? Because in fairness, they look good in parts against Ireland. They did look good. Like that Penno try was just oh Jesus Christ. Even the Irish players were probably going, if I could clap that, I'd clap that. That was actually pretty special. That was pretty amazing.
They still have some of the best rugby players in the world as well. Like,
oh yeah. It'll be very. Will Scotland? I hope Scotland throw this kitchen sink at him. Proper running stuff, you know. And I mean, our Finn, you know, the son, baby Finn, he's not going to be in any way starstruck because he's driving a Lambo around Paris. So you know what I mean. He's like, all right,
he doesn't have that kind of. Do you know, people would have a kind of a fear of like, oh, they're so good or they're so strong, or he's like, I know that guy eats a Big Mac on Saturdays.
Yeah.
You know?
He picks his nose on the reg.
Yeah.
By the way, so while he's pretty good looking to look at right now, he's actually rank. So just saying.
And he knows how flaky they can be as well, I reckon. Because he's one of them.
I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve here, and I'm going to say I'm going to say Scotland by 8 points. I know.
Go on.
I'm just saying it. My head is going, you crazy bastard. But my heart is saying, no, I could see it. This has been a very wild Six Nations. I think we're all quite giddy. And some strange things have started popping up in the middle of it. And I just could see France, Scotland. Imagine it. They beat them. And never mind England. But the real showdown comes to Scotland versus Ireland. Like, that'll be... Do you know, that's some Celtic warrior stuff.
That.
Oh,
that'd be brilliant. That would be brilliant. So I want Scotland to win. Let's go with it then. Even though I'll say France because then I'm usually wrong. So that I actually would prefer Scotland to win.
I know there's people absolutely coughing up their croissant, as you would say yourself. See, I have to say that rather than croissant because Anna would actually just end the call if I didn't enunciate it. So I think there's 8 points. I think there's 8 points in Scotland because their tails are up. They look over their shoulder and Thor comes running through. You know what I mean? Just glowing.
Oh, biceps and hair.
That's a great description of him.
That commentator, by the way, is oh my God, what's his name? The fellow with the dogs.
Oh yes, yeah.
That's him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Andrew Cotter, isn't it?
And
I
that's
got that name.
is it Andrew? I don't know. I know as soon as you said that you're man with the dogs, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, because he commentates on the dogs like running around the garden and stuff. Olive
Yes.
and
He did a brilliant one during lockdown on he did because he does horse racing as well, and he did a brilliant one on his kids' toys actually racing.
yeah.
So he had like and coming up in the first we have Inky Pinky, and Inky Pinky is running on the outside now, and it was amazing the way
He's brilliant, yeah.
brilliant.
That's
And
it. So it kind of makes sense that he's got this like droll comedy sense of
yeah,
humor.
and
So
there's no harm
to
having
listen to him a
characters.
bit
That's why
more.
we both love Finn Russell. We need characters. I don't know. Again, we're dipping back into club rugby for a moment, but I'm just wondering if you saw Simon Zebo's try at the weekend. Did you?
I didn't, but I saw the pictures afterwards. I
could.
didn't see that game.
It was the coolest slide you've ever seen. Like you would only. It's literally like if the guy put on a pair of Pit Viper sunglasses and just kind of went, yeah.
It's so
He slid
funny,
around and kind of came up on one knee and just to the camera kind of give a oh yeah. You couldn't.
Monster did well getting him back. He's just he's like a media like marketing team's dream.
Dream. Great name, great look, runs, and he's a great player. Everybody
He's
loves
funny.
him.
He doesn't
He's
give a
funny.
shit as well,
No.
I think, because he's playing well and he's not playing for Ireland. So he's like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And also he gets his huge tax back. I think after the fight, they get a huge ball of money that they put away in tax. I think they get it back if they move home after 5. It's anyway. There's a very French name on it that a lot of them do avail of. Moving on to the real reason why we're here. It is of course Ireland, the big one. Ireland play Italy at the weekend. He's rung in the changes for training anyway. So Kieran Treadwell comes in, Gavin Coombs is back.
Yeah.
Scott Penny is in, which a lot of Munster fans got really ratty about. And I was like, but is it? He probably he fits. I know what they're getting at. They're going, how can you look beyond John Hodnett? How can you look beyond? And he was like, very easy. He looks at everybody and he gets it. Like Jemison Gibson Park was second string, was playing second too. And I mean, maybe he's looking at Hodnett going, not yet, John. Because Scott Penny, let's be honest, it's mostly a Leinster team. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it's mostly a Leinster team. And it was more or less a Leinster-ish kind of, I suppose, style of play. And the rest can just fit in with it. And he obviously looks at Penny and went, yeah, he can fit in. Now, he won't be playing. He's up there holding tackle bags. But the big one's Joey got caught. Imagine that text message or that phone call. Oh, Joey. Man up, Joey.
I reckon he must have known it was coming at the beginning.
Do you think so? It's like going away, get your head together, and then he plays. Yeah, okay. There's a couple of.
You will get to play the Six Nations.
He had a very couple of strange conversion misses, but then he played on his toes. He played a blinder, like he was scything through he put a crossfield kick. I just YouTube this, and I even just watched the highlights. I don't know. I don't know will it show it, but if you can YouTube it, oh my good God. Zebo full bore. I mean, Zebo at full tilt up on his toes, up the wing. And Joey gets it and puts it maybe 30 meters ahead of Zebo. Zebo didn't have to. I'm not a milli moment of his stride did he have to break. He just literally put his fingers up and it landed like an Easter egg. There's almost no, there's maybe five of World Rugby that could do it what he just did. It was immaculate. Now he was probably just feeling hot at the time. It was like 30 points up, but I wonder, was it in that moment he was like, call me back in, Daddy Andy. Call me back in. I'm good to go. But
he knows he can do it then. Yeah.
He shows that he's still got the old minerals, but who'll start it out half, do you think?
Who do we have? Who's
Byrne and Crowley? Because Sexton, it would seem, is injured, or they're at least setting him out for this one because
which is good.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that. I think Byrne, but it would be nice to see Crowley have a crack. But I think he'll do what he did in those last few weeks, which is bring in the changes early.
Yes,
Doesn't
right.
matter what the score is looking like. Bring them in with half an hour at least. So I think he'll go Byrne and bring in Crowley.
Yeah, I like it. I suppose, yeah, flip it the other way. Byrne probably did himself huge favors pulling that kick off against Australia that time. And we were both saying it last week. We looked fired up when he came on. He was buzzing, and it didn't slip a millimeter. The game didn't slip a millimeter.
No.
He looked absolutely to the manner born when he came on. Now, before I need to say this. This may come across for our rugby union purists, right? I don't know. I said something at the very beginning of this podcast that I believe that World Rugby changed in the last World Cup when they saw how Japan played. High tempo, high tempo, high tempo. Keep the scrums fast. High tempo, fitter than everybody else. High tempo, high tempo. And now we've come to a point where we've got 46, 47 minutes in play. Scrums are lasting no time. So the scrums are like everybody was we all love the fresh prince of Finlay Bealham right now, right? We love him. He's cornrows, he's fitting in for Old Tig. But they were saying, oh, he did all right. And you were like, man, he got no test. He got no major test. They had 5 scrums. 5 scrums are over in no time. He pulls off that move where they split the defense wide open and he gives it back into Hugo Keenan. They're all starting to look like the same player. All the forwards can pass, all the backs can tackle, and like Murray's as big as O'Mahony. Do you know what I mean? All these people are starting to look about the same heights. Now, this is where it's going to get controversial, and you'll probably hang up on the call. But I believe Ireland are setting the standard. Everybody's going to have to follow what Ireland are doing right now. They're going to have to get faster, fitter. Ball and play time is going to have to get longer. Less pricking around with scrums and mauls. Unfortunately, I love a good old maul. I think Andy Farrell is turning Ireland into a rugby league team. Do you agree?
I don't disagree.
Isn't it? When you look at some of the moves, I hadn't
pictured it that way before, but
the defenses set up the exact same way. Whereas the guy outside, you don't know who's going to defend you. Before it was just a man on. Now you don't know who's going to defend you, which is a very rugby league thing to do. Like,
yeah.
Do you know the rucks are non-existent? They're as good as those, tackle and let him roll the ball. The scrums, damn near non-existent. 5 scrums the last day, and the way they're splitting defenses wide open. Now they're giving all sorts of, it's the options that they're giving. Everybody's moving. There's 4 options nearly on every pass now.
But if that's the knowledge that Andy Farrell has, well,
doesn't it make sense?
What he's going to bring. It does make sense, yeah.
There'll be union people spitting up their toast hearing this now.
Yeah, but at least, I don't see how they could be, given it's so entertaining, number one, and we're winning, number 2.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that at least, like when rugby league coaches kind of came across from into union, that's when the tackle height went up.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So at least I think Andy Farrell is wise enough, and they've just modelled it to, if that is what he's doing, and he's like, okay, here's my playbook from when I was a player. Let's put in the World Rugby expectations from union down a tackle height, and then keep everything else the same.
Yeah. So I'm amazed. I thought you would have cut me off. Well, the fact that I mentioned rugby, but rugby league is so entertaining too. Like, it really is. Like, but I like a scrum and a maul myself.
That's what we're doing. I like the style that we're playing, like with this many. But like, that's not Andy Farrell's decision. Let's keep the ball in play. Like, that's also a consequence of the game, and a lot of that came back to the referee as well. Play on.
I suppose, and their accuracy of pass, they weren't knocking anything on, so they weren't giving away many scrums. So
playing really well, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, all right, lads, I have a plan. How about we stop knocking it on?
Can you? That's actually a great sketch. That's a great sketch. We have a new coach coming in. He's going to revolutionize the whole thing. This guy's won everything there is to win. Let's sit down and hear what he has to say. All right, lads, I got an idea.
And then all the backs are like, no, we love knocking it on. We need it.
Would you
break,
stop?
Stand there
the forwards.
Scratch your arse for a while.
Big old fucking
no.
orders for hands.
Sorry, hang on. Are you a forward or a back here now?
I was a back. I was a centre. I just didn't pass it. I just didn't pass it.
Nothing worse. You into contact, drops the ball. You take your head out of someone's arse, running away from a scrum, Whistle goes, walk to the next scrum. The backs fucking knocked it on again. How many times in a match you're like, you are going in there next, and you'll be wrecked, like going into the scrums, like, for fuck's sake. Next person that drops that ball is going into the front row. So
Yeah,
that might be their new plan. Like, okay, have a plan. How about we improve our handling skills?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is funny. It's funny. It's been the thing, the buzzword, the buzz catchphrase of the last couple of years. I mean, they just need to really practice their catch pass. I'm like, they're fucking. You mean they're not practicing their catch pass? Like, but like, you know,
the drills you do down with the kids in La Coruña, they're the same drills that the Irish rugby team is doing inside in the high performance centre.
Isn't that amazing when you think about it? That you'd have coaches who went, Irish, sure they know how to pass. We won't bother with that now today. No, if you're a darts player, you still need to play darts every day. You still need to hit this, you know. So, you know, but getting onto the game, really, sure. I mean, I'm in agreement, and I think the same thing, that it'll probably be Byrne to start, because there's no harm to give him miles, but Crowley needs a cut or two, unless something miraculous happens, and Joey comes in on a parachute, and
like that. Did you see that French game where the fella landed on the pitch in the parachute?
Amazing. It's like,
that'll be Joey Carberry this again. Even though, will he give?
No, he won't. He won't. Carberry's holding pads this week. He's not in bowl boy school, but he's not top of the class. He's not top of the class. Yeah. And unless Crowley, which I doubt because he wasn't released back to the province, unless Crowley hasn't been playing great at training, but he would have been released back otherwise. I don't see it, unless they want cover for fullback to see how he looks, because he's a class fullback. I don't know, maybe. Yeah. Getting on to Italy. Italy have Garbuso back. Or Garbisi, I should say. I'm mixing him up with Garbuso. So it turns out I listened to a great podcast with a very interesting man driving back from Killarney last night, and it was a man called Stephen Aboud is his name, Irishman.
Steve Aboud, yeah.
Aboud. And he went over to Italy, and how talking about the early stages, foundations from 7 years out to try and get things. And he was talking about just, you know, the when a small, you can do it with any crowd. If you're just giving the back, and I was kind of going, Jesus Christ, bring him back home and put him into women's rugby. That's what we need. Put his project management into women's rugby.
He has done that in Irish women's rugby already.
But he shouldn't be let go away. He shouldn't be let go. But but anyway, either way, what he was talking about was, what I found interesting was almost like, you know, in the Crusaders, where every year it's a team. He comes up with a team, and it's this year it's got to be maybe the Rocky team, I don't know, whatever. But this year's team that they've introduced for the Italians is that the Stadio Flaminio. Is it Stadio Flaminio? It is Stadio Flaminio. Am I saying that? No, it's not. It used to be Flaminio. It's something else now. There's people shouting.
Right.
People shout at their phones now. And I'm not Googling it. I'm not, because I'm not a nerd. I'm not Googling it. If I'm absolutely wrong, Anna's Googling it right now. It'll be something yo. Stadio di something yo. Where are we?
Stadio di Flaminio.
Okay, so I'm not a complete idiot.
Flaminio.
So essentially what the team they're going with this year, and it wasn't a complete shock when I heard it, but at the same time, I'd love to see the ins and outs of it. They're going with the Colosseum. It's basically the Colosseum. They're gladiator. I don't know, are they going full in training, or they running around like Maximus Decimus Meridian? I want to know to what extent that they're going hard at this. Like, are they going pure Roman Empire? Are they wearing, like, to the coaches? Are they up in the Kieran Crowley up there with a toga on, eating grapes, like
they're up there like this with the thumb.
with the thumb.
Oh, like that's why he makes his selection with the thumb up and down. Fucking yeah! I wonder are they watching that film? I love
Gladiator.
I love that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. You sound great.
Yeah, sorry. I think I've slowed down a small bit there, but I fucking love Gladiator. I watched it only there recently. Actually, another fact about Mallow is Oliver Reed died during the filming of that of Gladiator, and he's buried in Mallow. His ancestry is from Mallow, and all of the actors from Gladiator were in Mallow during the filming of Gladiator
Oh my God. Right.
for his funeral. Yeah, Russell
Whatever.
Crowe and the likes, they were all inside in the High B in Mallow.
Yeah.
Anyway, aside from that, they probably, I wonder, do they watch the film? Even though I know it's very Americanized, they're probably like, oh, Jesus.
I hope
But
they
like,
watch that and not the Netflix, which, by the way, is very informative. The Netflix Roman Empire series of 4 episodes following the. Anybody, I would advise you if you have an interest in Roman. Now, your dad is a historian, but I would advise you maybe not to let. It's very, very, very fact heavy, which is great. Tells the story of Commodus Caesar. Heavy amount of writing, not unnecessary amount of it. It's like, okay,
writing.
oh, hey, like it's like, oh, like okay, we get it. Oh, we're not moving on with the scene. Oh, we're all right. They're all,
No.
oh, right. I didn't. Oh, geez, they're still going. Right. This seems kind of a bit. Oh, it's okay. I'll make tea. Fuck it. Like it's. But I would hope that that's what they went for Gladiator, maybe over. But I'd love to know the ins and outs, like his Carpuzzo, who, by the way, by all accounts, according to your man Stephen about Aboud or whatever his name, Aboud, it sounds like how a Canadians say about. Apparently, he is if he stuck with the position, he would be at top 5 scrum halves in the world. That's the level of scrum. A crazy good scrum half, like crazy good. Yeah. So they're in. So if they come out,
let's listen to that podcast. See, it was very interesting, man.
Yeah, and he's straight to the point on how. But I learned kind of a good lesson in life, like on, I suppose, disappointment. Because he was talking about like he didn't want to get kicked out of Italy. That like they just dropped him, and that's the way. Every 4 years in Italy, in all sports, it's like the American presidential election. A new president is elected, and that's it. Clear out, full clear out. Now he managed to. It would seem, because I think he was there 7 years. He managed to get into the second one, but he got. But it was some interesting points on how to deal with criticism too. It was interesting. It was like, because he was saying, about, a couple of years ago, because he was being asked by Sinead Kassan, who was asking great questions. She asked him, well, how do you feel when, people were saying, oh, Italy should be cut from it, like, and he says, well, he says, to be honest with you, that's a great line. I hope I say this correctly. A lot of the time, opinions should only be paid attention to based on the amount of respect you have for the person giving it. And I was like, oh, that's nicely put. I'm probably doing that. I'm probably hatching that. But I was like, oh, that's a very good line. I must remember that.
That's what I need to do.
That is a very good. But he sounded like a man who has trained his brain to be. Do you know what I mean? He sounds, not robotic's the wrong word, but he sounds well trained at that feeling. You know what I mean? Because probably taken, but it was very, very interesting chat. But it was, I'm interested. He was saying, look, his opinion, Italy are going to throw the kitchen sink at Ireland. And I'm looking for, I really hope they do. I really hope they do. But I don't think Ireland would be naive enough to go, we'll steamroll these guys, be the finest. But they'll surely have too much, will they?
They will, I think. But I think you're right that they're not going to be like, this is easy, because they're changing up the team. They haven't played. I'm presuming it's a team that be trying new things, so they're going to be kind of nervous from that side of it anyway. We've got to try new things. We've got to put this into practice now, and I've got to play well because I want to start in the next game. And I don't think it'll be a game that's taken for granted. No. And I agree with you. I want Italy to throw the kitchen sink at Ireland.
I don't think there'll be wholesale changes on the Irish team. I think, because it often surprises me, like, Jesus Christ, that fella's body not beaten up enough. But like when they did it with Fiji last year.
I think there will be. And do
you think so?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, do you remember they did it with Fiji last year, and Farrell was absolutely bulling afterwards. He was like, Jesus. But it was a disrupted team, like, and a lot of fellas lost their stars that night, like, Gavin Coombs being one and
right,
Joey being another.
You're right, actually, in terms of, like, do you remember on their New Zealand tour, and Johnny Sexton shouldn't have been playing at all, and he played and they won. Yeah. I actually was surprised at that they played Johnny Sexton that time, but it was now they believe they can beat the All Blacks, yeah, whatever, but at what cost? I still think that it was the wrong decision to play Johnny Sexton. Anyway, you're right. He actually doesn't change it up as much as I feel like I expect he will. But it just gave me the vibe, with giving those young players that good chunk of time at the end of the games, that he might change it a lot. But even if you have a different out half, that changes things for the whole team almost.
Yeah, I think what he's probably going to want in Ross, because in all fairness, say you're Fiddly Beelum and you're looking over your shoulder and you see Ross Byrne, you're like, okay. I think what he needs to build it is that he can look back and go, oh, class, it's Ross. He got this. Do you know, for more so, probably Ross will be fine. He's metronomic. He's got a great kick. He's playing great for Leinster. I think what will be the whole team needs to have confidence in him. Do you know, that kind of way? And I remember I heard a great, quick little one. I won't keep you all night. A great one. It was about John Schmidt and how good of a captain he was for South Africa at the time. And I can't remember what out half it was, but he really knew. And Schmidt said to him beforehand, look, these boys don't know you. They're not going to have any trust in you. So listen, about halfway during the match, we'll have a huddle and I'm going to ask you what. And they had, like, let's say 10 plays made out, right? What are these 10? I'm going to ask you what number 1 and number 7 are. Give them back to me straight away. Just know that. I'm going to say. And huddle, hey, right, hey, you're heading the game. Oh, listen, I got this, boss. No worries. Right, give me 7 and number 1. And he just rattled him off. And he said immediately the rest of the team were like, oh, he's got our backs. This guy's absolutely plugged in. This guy's our man. And immediately, and he said you could see the team grow in confidence when they knew the out half was absolutely plugged in.
John Schmidt, I love that.
You know, it's just it's a little ditty that I'm glad was at the front of my brain. Now I've said it live to you. So now if I ever forget it, you can actually have it to remember and shout it back to me at some stage.
Yes.
I'm very, very excited again. The weekend is kicking back off. So are we agreeing that maybe Ireland will have too much for Italy, but it won't be a cakewalk? I don't know what a cakewalk is, by the way. I'm just saying it.
I don't like to use that phrase either, cakewalk.
Well, neither one. Like, nobody knows what a cakewalk is.
I'll avoid it, but I do think Ireland will win.
Okay. It's
cakewalkily. Sorry.
Essentially, Annie, you're saying slam is ours, and that's that. Great, lovely. Hey, who knows?
I just predicted Italy would get in the way of a slam.
I love that nobody knows. Like, given the EastEnders moment that's going on at the minute in Wales, and my phone hasn't buzzed, so your phone hasn't buzzed.
I wonder, are they still in that meeting? The creators tearing. Poor Alan Will-Jones, like, he doesn't have that much hair left.
No, he left the last few old ribs pulled out.
Gone, smoke bald.
This has been an absolute joy. Thank you for joining me from the pub, or coming from the pub to join me. Oh God, I don't think I can handle it if you were actually in the pub supping pints with Doreen telling us stories. We will be back
another time with the stories.
Oh Jesus Christ! We'll bring the recorder down and we'll do it inside there. We'll be back again early next week. Remember to subscribe on whatever platform you're on. Most likely Spotify. If you can, give us the 5 stars. We've gotten a bunch of ratings, but for some reason we're at 4.6. Some bollockses have rated us down. We were rocking high on 5, and some prick obviously come on and went, I think you'll find 1 star. And it's like a fly in the ointment. Fuck that guy.
They gave us 1 star.
I don't know what they gave us, but it ruined our average. We were averaging a beautiful 5-star solid, and then somebody came in and dropped it. So if you are listening and you think anything less than 5 stars, then keep it in your pocket. We only want 5 stars, because getting more stars doesn't do our egos any favor. What it does is it allows more people to see it, and it becomes more visible to other rugby heads around the place that are into a bit of crack as well as rugby. So, like I said, we'll do nothing with the stars. We can do nothing with the stars, but if you give us 5 stars, please, it helps other people. Failing that, screenshot and tag either myself or Anna on whatever platform you like to follow us on. Banana Capeless, Tom O'Mahony Comedy. Other than that, Anna, we'll see each other next week, and may we have an unbelievable weekend of rugby.
Giddy up!
It's the Banana and Bear